Hold on, what did you just say about Trump?
I said, Trump's a fucking liar. Inflation's going up. Gas prices hasn't really come down that much. Eggs, that's the funny one. The eggs. I'm mad. And I'm a MAGA man. Okay? I don't see anything he's done.
So is it safe to say that the illusion has faded?
I think it has, yes. You know, I was for him because, you know, everything he said, you know, he played right into my hands. He just told us everything we wanted to hear. That's what he did. I can't even stand to look at him because, you know, he's just he's a con. He's a flat ass, nothing but a fucking con. You know, they all the right side, they say, oh yeah, the Biden side was so bad. Well, what's so good about the right side? He brags about doing something with our economy, but I haven't seen anything happen yet. That big beautiful bill is going to add, they say $2.5 trillion. It's going to add about $4 trillion to the debt. The big beautiful bill. Oh, what a joke. Remember what happened in the 80s with trickle-down economics? Yeah. The filthy rich got richer, and us guys that worked for a living paid more taxes. I'm disappointed, for sure. I'm real disappointed.
A couple months ago, you made a post asking a couple of questions, and now, as of a couple days ago, you just made an interesting video that I would like to show the class, answering your own question. So we're going to play the video that he made a couple months ago.
If somebody can tell me why Trump shouldn't be president, tell me.
And now we're going to play the video you made a couple of days ago.
When Trump said he was going to drop prices, I understood it to be groceries and everyday essentials. Because I'm seeing prices go up on groceries and essentials and everyday essentials for the everyday people. Where did I misunderstand?
When any candidate, regardless of affiliation, stands there and runs on lowering grocery prices on day one, you are being lied to. The economy, inflation, is a multifaceted thing, okay? It is determined by many factors, most of which are outside the president's control. But the man you voted for ran and campaigned on doing one of the only things that you can do to drive up inflation, and that is the tariffs. I don't know what you wanted. I don't know how you thought the prices, I don't know, but this is you fucking around. This is you finding out. This is all of us being like, you really thought he was going to lower grocery prices on day one and you voted for him based off of that and you couldn't sniff out that it was a lie? My name is Mercedes Chandler. Give me a follow or you won't see my face again. Thank you. Goodbye.
Farmers laying awake, crying at night because they're cash strapped. Look at this. Farmers and cattle ranchers are short 150,000 workers to pick crops. Fruit is rotting on the ground. No soybean deals with China, which is 60% of what they normally sell every year. Zero deals. Farm equipment. John Deere is losing millions of dollars due to tariffs. And farmers, if they have the money, are buying used equipment. Farmers who every single time vote for this administration, and every single time, this is an exact replica, but times 10 from his first term. Farmers crying at night, and many of them, I bet you, would say they'd vote for him again. Getting exactly what you voted for. And guess what? Blackstone and JD Vance are ready to come in and swoop up your bankrupt farms. MAGA, farmers, I have zero sympathy for you. Zero.
So y'all voted red and now you're broke, mad, and confused. So let's talk about it. The young people who voted for Trump and the Republican movement, they are already regretting their vote. And I'm not even going to pretend to be surprised because I knew it would happen. And y'all gotta understand, it's because this is always the play. See, a lot of young people didn't have the tools to really critically think about the impacts of what Trump's policies would have on their lives. And you know why? Because the American education system was never built for you to think critically. It was built to keep you just smart enough to pass a test, but not smart enough to question power. So when the propaganda machine started pumping, most of y'all didn't even know how to check that stuff to know what was factual and what was a lie. You didn't even know how to look past the shiny slogans, the memes, the TikToks, and actually ask real questions like, how does this policy impact me, my rent, my student loan, my future? And now here you are, under this Trump-led regime, finding out the hard way that Republicans do not have your back. That same party that you thought was about freedom is deciding the books you can read now, what rights you have, and whether you can even afford to survive. And look, I get it. When you're young, it feels like political policies and government and all that stuff, it feels like it's just background noise. You think it's something for old people to just argue about, but you see, it is not just noise. It's your life, boo. And if you don't take this seriously, the folks who do take this seriously, you know that older generation that's been controlling everything forever, they gonna keep stacking the deck against you. So now my question is, now that you are living under the policies that you voted for, are you ready to wake up yet? Are you ready to stop treating government like a joke and start treating it like survival? Because until young people wake up, old people are going to keep cashing checks on your future.
The people who voted for Donald Trump, aka MAGA, are now regretting their votes. And that is the best side of TikTok that I ended up on in the past week. So here's part 2 of all the people with all their regrets.
And now they keep calling me, they kicking me out, and they breaking my family apart.
Buenas noches.
Still waiting for America to be made great again. It's been what, since January? I voted for him, guess what? Both times. Both times. Forgotten. What the fuck am I gonna do with a Trump phone? I don't need another phone bill. We didn't get a stimulus. We didn't get a dose check. We didn't get no debt relief. No help for rent. No help for your mortgage. No help for groceries. They won't raise our wages. They won't lower prices. We're fucking drowning in debt. And guess what we get? We get a Donald Trump phone. A fucking...
Give me a minute.
I'm making this video because I voted for Trump, and a lot don't think we have the same Donald Trump that we had circa 2016 to 2020. This is not the same man. Somewhere along the way, he lost his way. To deny help to tornado victims. Then I heard he denied further assistance from FEMA to North Carolina. This is not the man we voted for. If you are upper middle class or below, I don't see how any of us are faring well under this president. And how
you can see, the more you fuck around, the more you're gonna find out.
Like, how are you guys handling this? Because I can't. Like, they are hunting us down like animals.
Loser!
I voted for Trump 2 times. And I probably will vote for him a 3rd time. I will vote for him a 3rd time. A small business owner who is completely getting rocked by the import taxes, the tariffs. I went from a 2.5% import tax to 28.5%. That is absurd. It is ridiculous. It is crippling my business. I am barely surviving for the past 8 years. Was hoping that the current administration, since they greatly disapproved of increasing the tax from overseas, was going to do away with it, but they have not.
As a Hispanic, I voted for Donald J. Trump. Dude, I regret it so much, man.
I'm regretting not voting for Donald Trump.
I voted for Donald Trump and now regret it.
A lot of people who were like me voted for Trump and have to account for that.
I regret voting for Trump.
So deeply regret my vote for Donald Trump.
I regret voting for Trump.
I was a dumbass, voted for Trump. It was the worst decision I ever made.
I've seen the light, and I got out of MAGA. A lot of us there have seen the light. We have deep regrets.
I feel guilty because I voted for Trump twice.
You done lost your damn mind. When you get your damn mind, you call me.
It's funny that MAGA considers empathy and compassion to be a weakness, and they go out of their way to try to demonstrate that. They crap all over people who have compassion for those who are less fortunate than them. But yet, when misfortune hits their life, and they want sympathy. And nobody, the sympathy well or the empathy well is run dry. They're the first ones to scream, well, what happened to the compassionate left, or what happened to the empathetic left? Do you not know the rule that, what you put out comes back to you, or, do unto others as you would have them do unto you? It's a pretty simple metric of life. You know what I mean? Like, if you want empathy and compassion, you better damn well exercise it. You know what I mean? And also too, this whole thing about crapping on socialism. But yet, when they lose their job because of stupid shit that they say online, or, for whatever reason, through no fault of their own, they're the first ones to ask for a handout, or they're the first ones to post a GoFundMe. I mean, I guess nothing about them makes sense, but it's just bizarre.
On a farm in Ohio that was funded through the Inflation Reduction Act, which Biden signed into law. And now the executive orders from Trump are rolling back all of that funding for us. So now we can no longer afford our farm. And when all that happened, it was like a lightning bolt hit my brain. And I realized that I shouldn't just be voting for myself, that Trump's policies and EOs are hurting millions of people. But it took it affecting me personally to understand what I had done was wrong. And I think it's really important for anyone to come out who voted for him and is now negatively impacted by the executive orders, or maybe you have friends or family, especially in minority communities, who are being very heavily impacted by what's going on right now. So, yeah, I think it's time for us to stop being so selfish, maybe, and to vote for what's best for the country instead of just in our tiny little bubble, because we're all in.
Brothers and sisters, today we're diving into a fascinating and important discussion: why so many MAGA supporters are beginning to regret their votes. This is not about attacking anyone, it's about analyzing what happens when political promises don't match people's lived experiences. So grab a seat, because this is going to be both educational and eye-opening. Let's start with the foundation. Many MAGA supporters were drawn to promises of bringing jobs back, restoring traditional values, securing the border, and making America strong again. For many working-class Americans, especially in rural areas and old industrial towns, this message hit home. Now, some of those jobs didn't come back. Manufacturing is still moving overseas. Farmers have complained about trade wars that hurt their crops. And while slogans sound powerful on a campaign stage, the reality of policy is far more complicated. That's where regret starts to creep in. People expected a revival of the past, but instead they're living in a present filled with higher costs, uncertainty, and broken promises. Now, one of the biggest areas of regret is the economy. Supporters thought a strong nationalist agenda would bring stability. But many of them are realizing that tax breaks mainly benefited the wealthy and corporations, while ordinary families are still living paycheck to paycheck. Inflation, housing costs, and healthcare remain heavy burdens. Imagine being promised relief, only to find out you're still drowning. That sense of betrayal is real, and it's making some people ask, did we get played? Another big reason for regret is the social climate. A lot of MAGA supporters thought they were voting for unity and strength, but instead we've seen rising polarization, families torn apart over politics, and communities filled with mistrust. Some people are now saying, I didn't realize my vote would make Thanksgiving dinner awkward, or that it would put me at odds with my own neighbors. This growing awareness that politics can divide us instead of unite us is leading some folks to reconsider whether it was worth it. Immigration was one of the loudest talking points in the MAGA movement. Supporters believed strong action would fix the problem. But here's the reality: immigration is a deeply complex issue tied to economics, foreign policy, and labor needs. Even with all the tough talk, the system didn't magically get fixed. Instead, construction workers, farm owners, and even small businesses are struggling without immigrant labor. Some of the very same voters who supported a crackdown are now facing labor shortages, higher prices, and community instability. This has left many scratching their heads like, wait, was this really the solution? Now, what does all this teach us? The first big lesson is that democracy requires critical thinking. Campaign slogans are designed to spark emotion, but citizens need to look deeper. Who benefits from these policies? Who pays the price? The second lesson is that politics is not a sports team. Too often, voters pledge loyalty like it's their favorite football team, when in reality, leaders should be held accountable no matter what. Regret teaches us that blind loyalty can backfire. The healthiest democracy is one where people stay flexible, keep asking questions, and refuse to be taken for granted. So brothers and sisters, the regrets of some MAGA supporters aren't just about one politician, they're about the bigger story of how promises, propaganda, and reality collide. It's a reminder for all of us, across the political spectrum, to never let flashy words replace real analysis. At the end of the day, every vote matters, and every vote deserves to be informed by truth, not just emotion. So whether you regret your vote or not, the key is to keep learning, keep questioning, and keep holding leaders accountable. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into politics, society, and the diaspora. See you in my next episode.